Everyone right now is talking about all of the new plans for 2026, the new things we're going to be adding, the shiny new strategies we're going to be trying, but that is not the move to be making if you actually want to see real growth this year. The start of January feels like the ultimate shiny object syndrome kind of era, where we are seeing so many new things, we're thinking about those projects we've always wanted to do, that offer we've always wanted to add, and we end up just thinking about the 5 different things we're going to be adding to the business, and then it's really easy to get overwhelmed and become really full with this business and think that we're being productive by just adding all these new things which are going to help us grow, but actually they don't get us more results at the end of the day. A lot of these new strategies and new ideas will just create more noise for you, and we kind of know this when we're looking back over previous years. If you think about everything you wanted to include in 2025, everything that you were thinking about at the start of the year, you probably tried some of those things and then probably ended up scrapping half of them because it was just creating noise, it was just creating confusion, and it was just diluting your focus. What we actually need in 2026 is more focus. What we actually need is to get really pinpoint specific on where our time and energy needs to go. We do not need more stuff for the sake of it. We need to actually get intentional with where you are putting your time. And let's be real for a second, it feels so good, the idea of let's start January and we're gonna add in all these new things, we're gonna completely shift the business, things are gonna feel so different, I'm gonna do this new program and I'm having this new offer and I'm increasing the price here, and we make so many different changes and it sounds really fun to, do all these different things, but it is not helping you. A lot of these things are kind of just giving you short-term gains. They are really giving you the excitement of that shiny object and really getting to lean into that. They're giving you the excitement of a new project to work on, but actually they are not fixing the real things which are actually going to help you scale, which is refining what you already have. Because if you're in the position where you can already see that, we have some offers which are quite popular, we're getting people jumping into those, and for 2026, I'm going to add this new thing over here, which is untested, untried, we don't know if it's even going to work. It sounds really fun though, it sounds really exciting and juicy, so let's add this thing in. Actually, if you were to focus on things you already have and refining those, that would make it 10 times easier for you to actually scale without the extra chaos and without the extra stress of adding in a whole new thing as well. And I've seen this pattern so often with clients of almost this hidden cost of adding in these new things, because every time you add something new, you are not just diluting your focus, you're not just splitting your attention, you're also kind of diluting the things that you already have. Because if you're adding in new offers, you are switching people's attention away from where you kind of want them to be focusing, which was the offers you also had before. If you're adding in new messaging, you are spreading your messaging really thin and you're becoming less known for the thing you actually want to be known for. And it almost makes it harder for us to grow the more we do add in, because we again just spread ourselves out more. We become less known for a certain thing, we become less known for a certain offer, messaging, and it just becomes really easy for us to just be really spread out, not really seeing the results we want from any of those things as well, because we just have so many different pots essentially on the stove. There's just so many different things going on that we can't really become known for any of those things either. And simplicity is the less shiny object here. It is the less fun one. It doesn't feel quite as exciting to be starting the new year with, but this is the thing that's actually going to be your secret weapon for 2026, because this actually gets you to deepen what is already working and scrap what isn't. That is essentially what we're talking about here. That is what we want to be doing as we're going into 2026. Not just adding new things, not just going into the easy option of, escaping the boringness maybe of the offer which you have been talking about for 6 months now, but is doing pretty well, and just adding something new. This is what allows you to actually scale. And I work with so many clients who have been in that position of having some things which are doing pretty okay, they're doing pretty good, and then adding some more things, then we add some more things because we feel like we should, or because they feel really exciting, or they think, it's a new year, so what do I want to add this year? And we end up building up a business which just feels way too big and complicated. And especially as solopreneurs, we have a limited number of time. And then we're seeing that, okay, I have so much on my plate, I have so many different things I need to focus on. Your audience are also confused because you have so many different things and you have so much that you're focusing on. And actually you simplifying is the thing that is going to completely shift that for you. The thing I really want you to be thinking about for 2026 is, if you were to have fewer offers, what would that look like? If you were to have fewer sales strategies, fewer pathways that people were coming in to work with you through, what would that look like? Which ones would you scrap? Which ones would you keep? What would you double down on? What would you maybe do even more of? What would be your answers to those questions? Because that is your clear direction for 2026. That is where you can actually focus in a way that isn't just you giving into shiny object syndrome and trying the new thing because it looks really fun, but actually seeing what is tangibly already working for your business. This is the predictable route for growth because it is already working. We're not throwing in a new thing because it worked for Sarah over there and it looked really good for her, but it might not work for you and your audience and your offers and your platform specifically. We are looking at instead what is already working for you, doubling down on that and doing less of the things which are not working. And it's a really easy route to actually scaling because you're giving your strategies time to actually compound. If we just try something for a year, then we decide that the next new year we want to try something completely different. Then the next new year we're trying something else, and then we're jumping back over to this strategy. We're not actually giving things time to really compound. If you gave yourself 3 years to really focus on this offer, it would get exceptionally better results than actually if you were to give it 6 months or give it 3 months. And most of the time we will just give something a few months and say, it's kind of okay, but this one looks shinier. The grass looks greener over here. It looks like this one could get me even better results, so we'll jump over to that other thing. When actually if we just kept watering the grass which we were on, to follow the analogy, then actually that would have been even greener than the one which we're seeing over there. And this is something where, especially New Year time, it's so easy for us to get caught out in that and say we need to switch everything. I need a brand new business tomorrow because that looks really good and it seems like that would be easier and that would be better. But actually you sticking with what you've got and refining, simplifying, doing less, that is such a sustainable way for you to actually plan to grow in 2026, and also a predictable way for you to plan to grow because it's not guesswork, it's not rolling the dice at all. You can literally see what is already working for you and just lean more into that. And especially in the time that we are in at the moment with business, where people's attention is really spread out, they are, scrolling on social media more than ever. We are needing to just share our message even more for it to actually land with people, for them to actually remember it. Repetition is key, and you actually sticking with the same thing is how you become known for a thing. You talking about something for 3 months and then scrapping it and jumping to something else is how you confuse your audience. And that's how people will end up saying, I like her stuff, but I have no idea, if I would actually want to work with her. I haven't really thought about that. It's not kind of attractive enough for me to want to jump in and want to actually pay this person, but I like their content. It's good. That's where we fall into that trap when we're just talking about so many different things that we can never really become known for something. And we're just constantly bouncing around different ideas, versus if you were to actually stick with the same thing, it becomes really easy for people to know you for something. It becomes easy for them to then actually jump in to work with you. The overall point to take away here is that January is not needing to be a fresh start month for you. And I don't think it should. I think that's almost the worst possible thing you could do, is say we're going to have this big fresh start for the business in January and shift everything. Instead, what we want to be doing is really just seeing it as a continuation from December. What did in 2025 work really well for you? We're going to do more of that. What didn't work so well for you? We're going to do less of that. That's the really simplified version, but essentially we don't want to be fresh starting our business every single year, because if you're trying to build everything from the ground up, you are essentially just hitting the reset button every single year with all the results that were already compounding, with the people that were already thinking about jumping into that offer, and then you scrap it and jump onto a different offer. Instead, if we can just continue building on what we built the last year, that is the way you're going to actually scale, and the way that it's actually going to be sustainable and lightweight and not just take all of your time. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the new videos every week. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.